Welcome back, everyone. It is September 2023. This is the August monthly update with Redoak Development Group. A number of topics to talk about today. A lot of great momentum across the board in all of our projects. It's been amazing to see the team work through all the cities, all the engineering. We have a lot of big news coming up here. So get ready for that. Before we get started, a few quick announcements. We will be launching an event in February for all builders, developers, clients of the engineering firm, investors, what have you. So stay tuned to that. In about 4 weeks, we're going to launch a new fund, $140 million fund, which is going to be targeted only in Texas for light industrial flex warehouse. So the goal here is to pick up 40 of these sites over the next 7 years. Our thesis across the board, whether it be projects, new endeavors, is that, crystal ball, but the next economic peak is sometime in 2030, 32, 33. And so we're positioning all of our deals, projects, initiatives, funds to sort of have those exits at that time. So, and obviously if the market changes, we'll pivot accordingly, but that is a plan. So look out for that announcement. It'll be an event where we present sort of the strategy there, our thesis, and just overall how we're hunting for these deals and why. On the capital side, just real quick, always want to update you on how our capital is flowing. Debt, again, we've seen debt still available to us. Leverage has come down from what was 65-70% to closer now to 55-60 on land. Construction has dialed back on the LTC as well. Interest rates have roughly remained flat, but they are still up, 2 points. From what we used to see as 9-10%, now it's 12-13% on construction. So not great, and I do think that's going to be a major hindrance for a lot of these developers that don't have easier access to capital. On the equity side, again, if you recall, we don't raise from institutions mainly to protect against loss of control. That might change in the future. For right now, we've been doing all private 506B and C raises, and we've done great. We're often oversubscribed. Capital is still flowing to us. I do think it's because of things like these updates that I give you all. I'm very transparent. Our investors have visibility into our Chase account at visibility to see how we're managing our funds. So we're full transparency. We've had a lot of success in our operations. We've had several exits. So capital's been relatively easy for us to raise on the equity side. So we'll have to monitor that as the markets, I think, continue to dry up. What else is going on? So a few updates on the lots. So I just got a report from our partner Zonda. Right now, if you look at sort of lot supply, it is going back to equilibrium in terms of demand to supply. In Austin, we have about 24-month supply of vacant developed lots, which is roughly a balanced market. Now, I don't think that's going to last forever. There's a lot of big players that are in the last phase of their developments, and I won't mention those names. But as they burn through those lots, I think we go back to the mean. From what we're seeing and predicting, we'll probably continue on roughly a 30 to 40% undersupply in lots for some time, especially as the home builders are doing really well. So we see that Dallas has, I think, 21 months on supply. San Antonio's a little worse. So that's where we're at. So we're monitoring the lot supply index. Obviously, that drives sort of our strategy as well. And then lastly, before we get into the projects, we are working with the governor's office on a rather big initiative. We'll be launching that here in about 4 weeks. But that will be a massive announcement, PR campaign about where Red Oak is going and why we're going that way. So stay tuned to that. Okay, into the deals. Let's start with probably our biggest deal in terms of land mass. We have about 80 acres in motion here, south of Austin, right near Cherryville, or about 10-ish minutes southeast of San Marcos. We've had this deal for about 15 months now. We bought it in June of last year, and debt secured, equity is fully raised on this. We will have prelim plat approved, likely along with a MUD and a development agreement come December of this year, right? So we're 90, 100 days away from what is a major milestone in the process. We've already picked our water provider, our sewer plant provider, and we are we now have another 100 acres, give or take, right against Highway 80, which will be a commercial access point. And we're talking to breweries to come in the commercial piece. We are building a school in this community, kind of our bread and butter, right? Mixed use, 70% resi, 30% all other, and then all other is a school, commercial, small med campus footprint. We're going to be marketing those lots to builders Q4, Q1 of this year. Again, it comes down to that lot supply index. If it's in our favor to negotiate when supply is being burned, then we go out and do it. We don't want to be out on the market negotiating when there's more supply than needed for lots. So we'll have to watch that throttle. But yeah, we're looking good on that. We talked to our debt provider yesterday to begin the conversations on construction financing. We are talking to a third party that allows us to leverage the MUD reimbursables as a mechanism for financing as well. So that's already in motion. We're well ahead of the game in terms of timelines. We're well ahead of the game in terms of planning for the next phase. We expect to start construction on this June, July, the earliest next year. So we got some time. Lots will start being delivered in Q1, Q2 of 2025. Again, our thesis is that at that time, we'll be on the upswing of the builders and lot demand, so we should be in a good position there, okay? Roughly 2,000 lots over about 6 years, and we'll be looking to exit investors out probably in 2025, okay? Really good stuff there. Again, Viewpoint Engineering has been absolutely amazing through the process, as has the county. Willow Ranch. I am going to share screen here on a different component. So what you're seeing here is another master community. And I think as you begin to follow Red Oak more and more, what you're going to see is our bread and butter are these master communities, right? 200 to 600 acre tracts, 6 to 8 phases, delivering roughly 300 to 400 lots per phase, 70% resi, 30% all other. Every one of these communities will have a school site, and we donate land to a school so that they can build. Every one of these communities will have a smaller med campus. So think of it as orthopedic, dental, a small med campus to serve the community, right? Just your basic needs. Every one of these will have a commercial site where we go out and find anchors being entertainment districts, amphitheaters, breweries, distilleries, and we have those partners already in motion. In fact, after this call, I'll be going out to a brewery in Spicewood to talk about potential partnership with that. Right. So, but what you see here is the biggest development in Lockhart, about 600 acres, about 3,000 lots through 2030. Okay. This one will be a PID, right? PID to MUD, same effort, same sort of instrument, different in how they come to fruition. MUD happens once you start building in terms of the reimbursements. PID happens up front to help pay for the development. We're in negotiations with the city on this one, and we're hoping to have a finalized development agreement and PID approval by October, November. That means funding begins for the PID sometime in March, April. We are looking to have construction financing on phase 1 wrapped up here by end of now September, if not early October, cashing out investors for another successful exit, and then proceeding with building the phase 1 lots, about 411 lots on this one for phase 1. All are already sold to 4 builders. So great project. This is going to be a staple community. If you know Austin, there's a community called Mueller. A lot of what we're doing has resemblance to Mueller, a little bit different, a little more suburban feel to it, but that's not an inspiration to us, but it has a similarity in terms of the concept. Okay, so stay tuned to this. More to come. Again, once we get all the approvals on both these masters, we're going to have a little event here in Austin for you all to come to. Pepper Creek Crossing, quite the tongue twister here. We are about done with this one. We should have full approvals for the commercial, multifamily, and the residential lots here in about 30 days. So we could have construction started in about 6 weeks. However, we're selling this deal as all entitled land, so not doing any of the work. We do have LOIs in place from builders on our lots. We are just beginning to market the multifamily on that. Now, multifamily is obviously in a rough spot right now, so it Could be a deal in which we have to hold multifamily for a couple of years and then sell it when the market rebounds. I still like the location of the site for multifamily with the military, what used to be called Fort Hood, different name now. It's the biggest Army base in the United States, if not the world. And so there's a massive demand for military housing there. And that's kind of why we went there in the first place. And then the commercial piece will be part of our Flex Warehouse fund. We're taking that down to eventually build a Flex Warehouse site there. Okay, so again, great partnership with Viewpoint Engineering and of course the city at large. Luke Carraway has really led a team here to effort all the way to fruition. So great work. And we'll begin to pay off the debt here in a month or two and then pay back the investors sometime in Q4. So another successful exit. Going on to our Seguin deal, this one's been a little bit slower, somewhat intentionally. 80 acres. Again, this is south of Austin, in between San Antonio and Austin. This one is a total of 323 lots. It says 315 here, but it's 323. We will have the development studies approved in Q3, and we'll start construction review Q3, probably to wrap up in Q1. We expect to start construction on this in Q2 of next year, so we'll probably go to market for financing in Q1. Right now, it's looking on the high end to be about $14 million on construction. We think we can probably negotiate with the city and TIAs and everything else, probably get that down to about 12.5 or 13 million. TBD, that's part of the process. So more to come there. We already have interest from builders on these lots. Again, trying to slow play that because we know this is a good location. We think they'll sell relatively easily, especially being improved. And so we'll start negotiating these in Q4, Q1 of next year. All right, Pine Haven. So this one's not in Texas. This is a deal in Arizona. So prime location, 14 acres, building on about half of it, 7 acres. Again, this will be an 84 unit luxury community, 3 phases, so a very slow build. It's pretty amazing. We raised this in June. We were subscribed in 60 minutes, which is pretty phenomenal, through all 506B. And we are already going to have permits fully approved here in October, no later than December. Winters can be a bit rough in Flagstaff, so we're actually going to start construction probably April on the site. And then it's a 7-acre site, so we don't expect it to take too long, but we are planning to be going through construction on the site through 2024. 2025 Q1, we'll start going vertical on phase 1. Again, this is a different beast, not a master community. These are 3-story condos with 4 balconies, panoramic views, amenity centers, cold plunges, saunas, very prime location. So these units are going to be selling for $850 to $1.2 million. If you haven't been to Flagstaff, it's absolutely gorgeous. So we've been there for about 5 years now doing deals, had multiple exits. It's been hard to find good land there, given the topo and sort of the conditions of the soil. But we found one right next to the country club, 3 minutes from the university. This is going to be a solid deal. We just got our bids back from a second GC, and now they could always have change orders and the prices could always go up. But what we're seeing right now is that our bids are coming back about 20 to 25% below our pro forma. Again, I never count the chickens until they hatch, but that's a good sign that we may have a home run here, which I've done a lot of exits, done a lot of deals, and I've not yet had a home run. I've had a lot of singles and doubles, so we'll see how this one goes. But we're very excited about this project. It's truly going to be a one-of-a-kind deal. Our engineering firm that we work with, Viewpoint, has an architect firm as well, and that architect has designed this. It's going to be a killer project. He's an award-winning architect from Copenhagen in terms of his studies, and he's really designed something pretty special here. So. And you can see it here on the screen if you haven't seen it already. But looking forward to this. Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on Pine Haven and go from there. And then lastly, I'll wrap up. That's it for the projects. We have more coming. But I do want to talk about where we're going briefly. And again, we're going to have an event on this to talk about this strategy in detail. But we are expanding 2 more master communities in Austin. We are looking at Hutto, which is near the Samsung announcement, and we're looking at Liberty Hill. So after that, and we pick up land there, we will expand. Now, part of this process is when we go and find land, we first talk to the economic development committees of these cities. We talk to the school boards and the ISDs because, again, every one of our communities has a school, so that's part of it. And if we can get a sense that the cities and economic development committees and the schools align to our strategy up front, then we go and proceed with the work to get a solid land deal, okay? So again, you're looking at 2 in the north part of Austin. We have 2 communities in the south part of Austin, and we're done after that. So we'll have 4 communities in Austin. In Q1, our land team is going to start looking for deals in Dallas and Fort Worth. And we are partnering with a big firm out of Dallas, to help us do some of this scouting. But we look to have 5 to 6 communities in Dallas and Fort Worth in motion by 2028. Okay, and so the plan here generally is that Red Oak is going to do these metro communities and then plan for an exit of everything either no later than 2032. That's the game plan. And again, it's all around this thesis that the next economic peaks should be roughly the average, which is 8 or 9 years. And if you just do the easy math, that puts you around 2031, 32, right? So we'll see. A lot to figure out here. There's a lot in motion that I can't talk about right now, but we'll be making a lot of announcements going forward on our strategy and, again, why we're doing what we're doing. So more to come. Stay tuned. Any questions, you know where to find me, and see you next month.